Pramo, wonderful to have you with us. Just to briefly introduce Pramo again to all of you, while he's the president and head of strategy and business development at Aditya Birla Capital, I think his portfolio is much, much larger than that. Pramo's responsibilities include defining and driving key strategic initiatives in collaboration with ABCL's businesses, building new strategic partnerships with key digital ecosystem players, driving ABCL's FinTech initiative, and leading M&A and long-term strategic planning. Pramo, I can't thank you enough for being with us and all the support that you've given us right through for the NASSCOM India Fintech Awards. But of course, before we announce the winners, I'd really like to, chat up with you and, give our startups and our audiences a good insight into, very keen to understand from you, given your background, PwC, Goldman Sachs, long time with Aditya Birla Capital. How have you seen this fintech space change over the last 2-3 years?
Sure. Hi, Kritika. Good to see you again, and thank you for having me, and thank you to the NASSCOM team. It's very exciting to be here. Just one quick thing before I get to your question is that, look, NASSCOM's a key partner for us, right? So we really appreciate all the good things that we're trying to do together. And you've been with us on our journey of the past few years, so we really appreciate that. Look, one of the, I guess, advantages of going last in a very exciting day is that you get to say something deeply profound and insightful or whatever it is, right? But then the problem is all the eminent personalities before you have said everything. So what are you going to say? So let me try to take a crack at the question you gave, right? Because I was just thinking about it. Look, I think if I were, one is, I think in the previous session, Mr. Govindaran said it's a mindset change, top down from the government, from everybody. Everybody has realized the need to really support and create an ecosystem and platforms, just core platforms that can support the startup environment, right? Outside of the funding. But I think if you were to ask me, I would point to two key things, right? One is, I think, something that India has created, which is absolutely world-class, which is UPI. It's the payments ecosystem. And what that has done is just created a way for everybody to plug into something that's secure. It works incredibly well and just changes the game as far as payments goes. And nobody else in the world has done it to that effect and so pervasively, right? India is a fast digital adopter. And this, I think, I would say is the whole payment stack and UPI is one very, very crucial part of it. The other part, look, coming from financial services, right? Identity verification is another very critical and huge part. No transaction can be done in financial services without identity verification. And you can go and buy, I don't know, a bottle of shampoo or whatever it is from a store or wherever without identity verification. But if you have to do any financial services product, you have to have very good eKYC systems, right? So the whole digital, the Aadhaar stack, the digital stack for that, right? That I would say is another game changer, which again, I think there's various versions of it in other countries, but something that on such a large scale, it's been more than a decade in the making. I would point to two of these as being two of the most critical trends, I think, that have changed the game for India in this space. I think you're on mute, Kritika.
Like you said, the last session, it's always difficult, but I think there were some very, very valid key points that were made. Pramo, I'm also, on behalf of the audience that we are talking to today, like to really understand from you. We've all had like to understand from you, from an organizational perspective and an organization focus, right? What are your thoughts on building innovation and innovative solutions, right? Not just from a fintech perspective, but yeah, more so on that. But, your overall thoughts and your approach to that, I think, would be very insightful for the audience.
Sure. Happy to address that. Look, I think I just want to go back probably more than 6 or 7 years when all the way from the top of our organization, from Mr. Birla down, right? I think he also recognized this very early on. And we started this thing called BizLabs to help foster innovation. And there's been 2 or 3 times that the program has been run. That is a proprietary intellectual property of the group, of the Aditya Birla group. And that's really the platform that we use to foster innovation. And then at Aditya Birla Capital itself, a couple of years ago, we did the first fintech-focused Biz Labs program, which I personally oversaw. So it's very near and dear to our heart. So innovation and the need for fostering startups, bringing them into our organizations, and then cultivating them and helping them find the solution. I think in the prior panel, the discussion was all about partnerships, that an organization can't do this on their own. So one is recognizing the need for that and driving that, right, is a key part of what we're trying to do. I think I would point to 2 or 3 other things that we're trying to drive as part of a digitalization initiative, which my CEO, Reimagine, has been driving for the past 2 or 3 years, is digital adoption of solutions. I think, you can build it, but will they come, right? So that's the issue, right? You have to have adoption. The second is customer engagement. And the third, I would say, is customer acquisition. I think if you talk about 3 pillars, I think this is what we would talk about, right? So all of our initiatives are driven at these 3 key principles. And beneath that, there's various kinds of solutions. So that's really what we're focusing on.
Yeah. Pramo, especially on this whole customer acquisition and customer engagement perspective, right? Now, one is the external customer, right? Yes, yes. I am sure, as a group and as an organization, there is internal customers and internal adoption as well, right? And those things are what makes an open innovation or a innovation program that much more sustainable and that much more adopted and successful, right? So anything that you want to share with us on that part? Sure.
I mean, the other thing you've done for the last session is you're going to ask me hard questions. So I'm going to have to be careful. Look, I think, the internal customer can be sometimes your toughest customer, right? So let me just give you a personal experience. I think it was 2 years ago now, we started thinking about running the first innovation program or whatever at Aditya Birla Capital, right? And we were wondering, are we going to get buy-in? Are people going to respond both internally and externally? And I have to give credit to the team that ran it, my team that ran it. But basically, we were inundated with what we call problem statements, right? Saying, look, I need a solution for this. And we have, I think there are multiple businesses now, probably we have 8 or 9 businesses, 5 of them are pretty large, right, under the platform within various verticals. And we've got all kinds of problems from each different vertical, from insurance, from lending, from asset management, housing, finance, brokerage, everybody with a different problem, right? So then we knew that the internal buy-in was there. And when we ran the program, look, I'll give you a few stats, right? We had over 500 responses, right? Over 500. We thought we would, when we were saying, look, will we get 150? Will we get 200? Will we have enough? We had over 500. And then we had to extend the timeline to go through this, right? And it just shows you what's happened in the last few years with the startup ecosystem, right? Is that there's a lot that's happening out there and people are coming up with ideas, right, to solve these problems. And then we whittled it down and it's really been a fantastic experience since then. What's happened is that in the last 12 months, also, unfortunately, but the silver lining to this is that digital adoption is now a must-have. And that everybody, I mean, there's nothing new I'm saying, everybody's saying this, right, is that you've got to have it. So we sort of got, fortuitously, the timing seems to have worked because we started running this program, then COVID happened, we need to digitize very, very fast, but we'd already started the internal processes to bring startups on board and get them acclimatized and incorporated, right? So it all sort of worked out well. So the internal buy-in, thank God, is there. So it sort of helps make my job a little easier as well.
Yeah. I'd like to just spend another minute or so, Pramo, on the whole, what would your advice be to startups, in the fintech space, startups on customer engagement, right? And customer acquisition. I think that's also changed a little bit in the last year and a half. So anything that you would like to share with the startups on that one?
Look, sure. Look, a lot of these guys, know much more than I do on this, right? Because they're working on it daily.
Yeah.
But from a customer engagement standpoint, I'll take that first. Really, what we're focused on is hyper personalization, right? Because it is a customer of one, and if you have the ability to sort through the data and have an analytics backbone that can help you do that, right? And if you can come back with a tailored solution for a customer, right, it increases your customer engagement, customer satisfaction, and then just it's a self-satisfying, virtuous cycle, right? So from an engagement standpoint, it's the ease of engagement and hyper-personalization so that the customer feels that they're getting what they need, as opposed to what's been very traditional in financial services is here's a product, and I'm going to try and push it out there, right? So it may not quite meet your needs, especially, let's say, in insurance. My insurance colleagues are going to hate me for saying this, but it's a tough product to sell. But it is a problem, right? So if we can be nimble and hyper-personalized, that I would say on the customer engagement front. The second on customer acquisition is, 2 words, right? It's tough. I mean, if I want to make it 3 words, it's very tough, right? Because to acquire customers profitably, you need to be confident that you can sell to them, right? And I think this is a critical issue. Look, I'm no great sage on this stuff, right? But I think the one thing that I can say is that if you're a startup, your life from start to finish, from morning till night, a lot of these guys, I mean, who am I preaching to here, right? Is where is the next dollar going to come from, right? It's constant fundraising, in addition to all the problems about being innovative and the solution working. It's just having the money, right? Until you're making money and until you're cash positive, right? And self-sustaining. So what the bigger issues with that is if you're a direct B2C type of platform, right? Customer acquisition, that whole load of customer acquisition and getting customers on is on you. And you've spent a lot of money doing that, right? So as you think through your models, people mentioned partnerships in the previous sessions, right? Partnerships are critical. We believe that partnerships are critical because we know how expensive it is in a highly competitive world to acquire customers and keep them. Because as people churn, you just keep wasting that money, right? From a customer acquisition standpoint, if you go through a B2B2C model, right, that could alleviate some of the pain with respect to that. But look, it's easier said than done. It depends on what the solution is and what the model is, right? So that's all, I would say on that.
Yeah. I'm going to jump to a larger perspective that, we were also talking about the other day from an overall ecosystem perspective. Very keen to understand from you, what are some of the key trends that you've seen overall in the ecosystem that are helping build the whole product and startup ecosystem?
Look, I think the key trends, one thing that we've seen with the startups, right, over the past 4 years, as we've been really spending much more time on this, is that the sophistication and relative complexity of the solutions is getting more and more. It's getting more and more complex, right? The solutions are getting more thoughtful. So you're seeing the evolution even within the thinking of all of the entrepreneurs, right? And that's helped by the fact that, look, if you have a payments platform like UPI on which you can build your solution, or you can rely on eKYC or something like that, then you can then get to the next level because the base level problem has been solved, right? So we're seeing that trend. That's one. The second trend I would say is a lot of the entrepreneurs that we're seeing now are second or third time entrepreneurs, right? Which is really, really encouraging because I think 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of these people were still in their first entity. There were, you had the Flipkarts and the other unicorns of the world. But outside of that, as a general pervasive trend, you were not seeing this repeat cycle of entrepreneurs. It was still getting built. I think what's really happened is that because of the success of some of these marquee names that we talk about, that spawned people who now can go out there and then ideate themselves, fund these things for the initial year or few months or whatever it is, and then build on that. So that's also really encouraging because it gives you a sense that, look, this whole startup fintech ecosystem can be sustainable, because if that dries up, then the innovation will also dry up, right? So that's really encouraging. So those are a couple of things I would say.
Yeah. This is a favorite question of mine that I'm going to throw at you.
It can't be good for me, right?
So, you know, if there is that one solution that you would like to see from one of the fintechs, from your perspective, what would that be around?
Sure. I'll give you two. How about that? Okay, fine.
Oh, great.
Look, I think what I would say is we're in that transition phase where there's a lot of old systems, right, that have to be brought to the new. And there's still a lot of business being done that relies on old records, and data is just completely disaggregated, not accumulated in the proper fashion. It's not readable. If there's one type of solution for this interim phase until things get much more digitized, it's a solution that can actually deal with all of this non-standard data, right? Even OCR is good. It's really improved, but still you have to have manual backup because the success rates vary so much, right? So that's one solution that will really help bridge the gap between the two worlds, from the brick and mortar to the next phase, and really help speed things along. That's one. I think the second one I've already talked about, which is hyper-personalization, right? Which I think really will be a game changer, because then I think it'll help business a lot.
Yep. Excellent. So on that note, we come to announcing the winners of our NASSCOM India Fintech Awards. So this is the second time. This is the second year in a row that we're doing this, and it's for very early stage startups. And it's gone through a pretty stringent process where the startups had to submit their case studies. And then there were two multiple jury rounds, and then a final jury round, and then from the top three, we kind of selected, and more than happy to be having you, Pramo, announce the winners for us today. And we have 6 different categories under the FinTech Awards, and the first category that we would be announcing, and I'm very excited about this because there's some phenomenal entries that we've seen this year and some brilliant solutions, and I'm just so glad that we have this platform to announce these winners and make sure that we support them through the year as we go along. So, Pramo, the first category that I'd like to announce and have you announce the winner for is FinTech of the Year for Financial Inclusion. Okay,
and the winner is Easy Home Finance, founded by Rohit Chokhlani. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Easy Home Finance Limited. And Shivam, on that note, could we have the video play?
Hi, I'm Rohit Chokhlani, the founder of Easy Home Finance Limited. We provide faster, cheaper, better mortgages to the missing middle of India. These are the 400 million plus people who are underbanked and underserved by the current banking financial system. We do this completely paperless via our mobile app, and these are provided within 2 working days to the customers. 100% of our loans have women co-ownership in them. We endeavor to fund only those people who require it the most, and we have impacted more than 5,000 lives in the last 2 years, and our aim is to impact more than 1 million lives in the next 5 years. I thank you very much for this opportunity.
Getting a loan to buy your dream home is now almost as easy as buying a movie ticket.
Wow, interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. Our next category, FinTech of the Year, Insurance.
Sure, and the winner is Plum, founded by Abhishek Poddar and Saurabh Arora.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
And all the best. And Shivam, can we have the video, please?
With Plum, we are reimagining employee health insurance to make it more affordable, simple, and comprehensive. Companies with as few as 5 employees can set up high-quality health coverage that was previously available only to the large corporates. They can get this cover at a price as low as 1,000 rupees per year. We focus on delivering a seamless customer experience. Our promise to the employees is that they spend less than 5 minutes to initiate their claims. Since our launch 9 months ago, we have over 250 corporates on board. Our mission is to become the de facto health insurance platform for corporates and provide high-quality, affordable health insurance to over 10 million people in the next 5 years.
Very nice.
Right.
Our next category on FinTech of the Year, Lending.
Sure, and that award goes to Bharat Pay, or Resilient Innovations, founded by Ashnir Grover. Congratulations, Ashnir.
Congratulations. And the video, please.
BharatPay merchant lending product is purely digital, simple, and very intuitive for the small merchants. Essentially, the small merchant has to transact either on a BharatPay QR or a swipe machine, and he gets a loan against his transaction values. So far, we have given more than 90,000 loans to small retailers worth over $100 million or 700 crores. Our plan is to scale this up 10x to 7,000 crores in the next 2 years. In addition to this, we are also getting into the distributor lending space through which the small shopkeeper will be able to enjoy a 0% credit period of 30 days. Thanks.
Thank you. Our next category is on FinTech of the Year payments.
And the winner is Encash, founded by Hemant Vishnoy. Congratulations.
Congratulations. And the video, please.
We at Encash are super delighted to get to know that we are the winners in NASSCOM's Product Conclave 2021. Such awards are recognition of Encash team's effort in building up this platform. Encash is a business payments platform that uses commercial cards in simplifying business finances and their cash flows. On behalf of entire Encash team, I would like to thank NASSCOM and jury members for this recognition. Thanks once again.
Thanks, and wishing you the very best. Our next category, FinTech of the Year, regulatory compliance.
And the winner is Invoid, founded by Kanwarraj Sethi. Congratulations, guys.
Hearty congratulations, and the video, please.
Hi, my name is Kumar Raj and I'm the founder at Invoid. We are India's fastest growing KYC and identity verification platform, currently vetting more than 5 million users on our platform every month. We serve customers in more than 7 industries, including some of the top banks, fintechs, NBFCs, investment platforms, crypto exchanges, gaming companies, and shared economy platforms. We are here to democratize identity and KYC and have now launched a low-code application where customers can set their onboarding flow, set rules for verification, and go live in under an hour. We are backed by one of the top global accelerators who is supporting us in our journey. Considering the current situation and the emerging remote economy, we are here to support the growing startups and enterprises with the newly launched freemium model. Looking forward to talking to you all soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And our final announcement for the day, the FinTech of the Year in the retail banking space.
The winner is Touchless ID Private Limited, founded by Anthony Vendan. Congratulations, Anthony.
Excellent. Congratulations. And the video, please.
Hello, this is Anthony Vendan, co-founder Touchless ID. We are glad to receive this award. Our patented technology allows you to open a bank account remotely, thus by reducing the onboarding cost significantly. Our SDK meets all eKYC compliance requirements. Our SDK can be integrated to all mobile banking apps. Let's see how this works in real life.
Thank you. So, Pramo, before we end this conversation, right, we all know that this is a very exciting space to be in, and, so much in terms of even in the recent time, new compliances, new customer expectations. I think, it kind of, just accelerated the whole thing in terms of fintech and innovation and solutions, and so much happening here. I'd really like to, wrap this with your advice and your parting thoughts to our winners and our finalists, right? We, of course, will continue to work with them through the year in multiple ways, but would love to have your parting thoughts and your advice to them, to all our winners.
Look, I think it's very difficult to pick a single piece of advice, right? I can only give it from the perspective of how we look at things, how we look at startups, partnering with them. The one thing I would say is partnerships are critical. I think it's all about partnerships. And look, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that there's no one-size-fits-all solution for any problem set, for any process, anything, right? So as you're going through trying to figure out what your solution would be, how does it engage with a customer or a company or whatever it is, right? I think the earlier you can engage, the earlier you can get some kind of either mentoring relationship, or if you've been in a previous organization, so you know how it's going to work, something like that, into your thinking process, that I think would really help down the road. Because once you've spent a lot of time building something, doing something, going back and changing it is very, very difficult. It's either that or making it modular, right? So that you can customize it or change it. I think, look, off the top of my head, that's really what comes up, because what we see, even in the partnerships that we try to do, right, our own partners, an initiative, again, that I lead, is that everyone has a different need. And we might set something up and integrate with a partner and think that, okay, fine, now we can take this and do it with somebody else. And then you go there and they say, look, no, I need it this way and that way, and my customer wants this and that, right? So you've got to be agile, and all of this has to come in the design thinking upfront. So to the extent that you can develop some relationships and some mentorship through a process, I think that would be good. And Kritika, what you guys are doing with 10,000 startups, what NASSCOM does for startups, right? I think this would be a critical role. We're happy to help in any way in some of these areas. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Pramo. That was phenomenal. And I must say it, again, I want to thank ABCL and personally you for the time and effort that you've put into this whole process. And I want to thank all our other jury members as well, and definitely Team NASSCOM for putting this awards from end to end. And we just want to do more of this. So, Pramo, on that note, thank you so much. And signing off and handing back to Jaya.
Thank you.